Thank you, and welcome back to another Manga Cyphers. I'm one of your hosts, Sean.
It's your co-host, Jamal.
And this week we're taking a look at the manga Blue Giant. And Jamal's going to kick you with some facts about it, and then we're going to kick our freestyle on it.
All right, so the manga was written by Shinichi Ishizuka. Sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. It has a total of 10 volumes. Its original run was from May 10th, 2013 to August 25th, 2016. And currently, as of last month, they have officially have an English publisher.
Hype.
So you can officially get it. And as we're recording this, I just ordered my copy on Amazon because for real, this episode's a little different. We really want to support this manga and eventually getting an anime because music mangas are a little different than
for real
anything because you have to hear the
and
music.
Also, FYI, this is a music manga.
Yes, it's a music manga.
Yeah.
Okay, Blue Giant is about a senior high school student named Dai and his passion for jazz, and you go through his journey of his goal of being the best jazz player in the world.
Yeah, and it's such a weird, I don't want to say weird, right, but jazz isn't really celebrated the way that it used to be when it was kind of like the cultural sound of America at the time.
In the early 20th century and stuff like that.
Yeah, jazz basically what hip-hop is now, jazz was that, right? And so
it seems like a bygone era type music.
Yeah, and so for I forget what era this is supposed to fall in for the character-wise.
You're talking about the time period? Early 2000s. I think middle 2000s, like 2010-ish or something like that.
But just overall in the manga, we follow his journey from, and that's the really cool part about this manga too, right? It starts at his beginning when he is trash, where all he can do is blow loud inside of his saxophone, and then it jumps towards it just jumps towards the end. We may be getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but did you already tell the synopsis of it and everything?
Yeah, pretty much. Him going his journey to become the best jazz player in the world, but how he got to that point is why he fell in love with music. I guess we should start with. So he's just a normal high school student,
playing basketball in his clubs. Yeah. He's not even in music band or jazz club. It's just he's played basketball.
So one day, I guess his friend takes him to go to a jazz concert. He's like, "Hey man, check this out," and on the back of the manga cover, it's like jazz struck him like a thunderbolt. He fell in love with the music, and not just a normal love. It became almost like an obsession. To the point where when he got his tenor sax, he was playing it day and night.
Yeah.
After practice, rain or snow, he was playing it.
It was an obsession.
So it started in his freshman year of high school, throughout, and he was playing like that. So with 3 years, and he didn't know no music notes, no nothing. He was just playing sounds based on what he heard. So he'll listen to records, listen to people play, and he'll try to imitate that.
I think that's a cool way to learn how to play an instrument too, right? Because it's you have to have a certain level of dedication. I'm gonna listen to this note being played on the radio or through my speaker, and I'm gonna try and emulate that. And from that emulations, I'm gradually learning the techniques. And because it's you're not learning how to read it, you're learning how to feel it. And there's a difference between just being able to read music and to be able to actually feel the sound that you're playing and to push that out of your horn. For me, this manga, I fell in love with it first night. I found it one night. I was scrolling through manga decks, and as I was scrolling through, I was like, okay, a jazz manga. This might be dope. Let me sit down and read it. I read all the chapters that was available on the site. I read it in one night, and then next thing I know, I had to text your mom and be like, yo, this is the next one. We have to talk about this one. I don't know. How did you feel your first time reading through it?
Well, I wasn't expecting this to be this good because the artwork reminds me of Monster type of the Monster. If anybody's ever read Monster or seen any of Urasaka's works,
I can see it. I can see 20th Century Boy.
20th Century Boy and stuff like that. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of that artwork, and then of course this is not a shonen or anything, so characters have to be important, and the way they portray Dai and other characters in the manga, I was like, yo, this is really, 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 really good.
It have a feeling of being like incredibly grounded, right?
Mm-hmm.
It feels like, okay, this is a real kid who found love with something and he's following his passion. There's a couple scenes I want to hit on throughout this one. The first scene that I really loved that made me want to keep going was the scene with the girls. It's like in the very beginning.
Yeah, when they were trying to like say what you want to do, and so after high school and whatnot, and he said, "Oh, I want to be the best jazz player in the world," and they were like thinking he was joking, like, "All right, seriously," like, or just like weren't taking him seriously. They weren't laughing at him. They're like, "Oh, that's cool," like thinking it was just like a hobby, like
because
he was
sometimes
like being for real
people
about
just
it.
say that though too. There's just like, "Oh, I want to be that." And then they jump to another idea next, and they jump to another idea next. But nah, he was like, "This is my goal. This is what I'm going to be." And I thought that it was amazing because it showed he have chosen his weapon and like his passion and what it was going to be for him, and he was going to follow through on that. And I think that's just really important.
I guess we can jump into some of like the characters.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Or like some of the stuff that led him to be able to get better at playing music. Like we said before, he was not good at music. He just emulated sounds and stuff he heard.
Yeah.
So eventually, of course, he's gonna have to learn how to play.
I think a critical moment. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Like a critical moment was when he went to the bar.
Mm-hmm.
To by this point, it's like Jamal was saying, he's just been playing, emulating sound that he's been listening to, blasting his sax down by the sea. Which is also low key dope as shit. But he finally got a gig. Some
one of the I guess the music guy was like, hey,
the guy at the shop.
Yes, the shop was like, hey, you should go, play with these people. They go in the little bar. They got out there and play.
Yeah.
So he said, oh sure, let me go. I was nervous, and the first time even performing, he didn't know how to read no music, so he was playing. And he was playing so loud, out of control. Yeah. The one dude in the attendance like, "Hey man, shut that shit down, bro. We get to listen to some nice jazz to have a drink to, not that loud ass shit."
Basically, the person at the bar, the type of jazz that he came to listen to that night was, it's just
cool,
like,
mellow drinking jazz.
Yeah, like the type of jazz that can work more as like being in the background.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really meant to be heard. It's meant to be a layer over conversation, but it's just supposed to be there to like soften like soft points in the conversations when people stop talking and allowing thoughts to flow, or they just that moment in time. That's the type of jazz that man was expecting. But our boy came in there blasting his sax. If you do go through Manga Dex to read it, right? I do.
Yes, we don't recommend.
Yeah,
it's bad to read. I don't want to say. It's bad.
I don't want to say it's bad, right?
I don't want to say. It's
bad. But I want to say also support the people, because that's like, it's okay to read fan translations. That I strongly believe that I've read,
because it helps bring out what you call it.
It builds fans.
Builds fans, and hopefully one day build enough recognition to be able to get a publisher like the Seven Seas doing for Blue Giant.
So I think fan translations are okay, but I think you should still go, once it does get like official release, or go and buy the manga, go and purchase it, go and get you your own book, because that's like, that monetary value helps showing that like we care about these things. But
we're going back to the bar.
Okay. At the bar, he the thought ran away.
No.
On Manga Dex though, it came back. On Manga Dex, when you go into the comics, right, there each title of the chapter, I didn't realize this until someone said it in the comments. Each title of the chapter is a real jazz song. And so,
see, nice.
When someone in the comments said that, and then I went and put the actual song that he would have been playing at that moment in the bar, and it's so aggressive. It's so aggressive.
So you see why why the guy was mad. Like, okay,
it allows you to understand it too, because you're like, all right, I get your point, but you didn't have to go about it that way.
They pretty much got booed off the stage.
Mm-hmm. His very first gig, he got booed off the stage, but the cool part is his teacher.
The teacher and the bar owner who was there. The bar owner was like so astounded at how well he sounded that he started crying.
Yeah. He brought a grown man to tears because even though he wasn't, there's always like that saying when he was a rough diamond.
Yeah.
He wasn't polished yet. And like the people who really knew the music and knew jazz
knew how good he could be. He's like, man, this dude is really he's out of control, but he's chaos. But if he's under control chaos, it'd be different. So that's where the teacher comes in. So the teacher decides to say, hey, I'm going to teach you how to play. And it was funny because before the moments, Dai listened to him. He said, listen, this is how I sound. The Dai's like, man, you sound amazing. But the teacher's like, what you do is 10 times that.
Yeah.
So I sound good, but this is as good as I'm gonna get. What you can do is better.
The what was it? The simile or metaphor that the teacher uses in the manga, I think is amazing. He was like, I'm a seed, like a flower that began to grow, but I'm never going to bloom.
Yeah, this is where I'm gonna get.
Yeah, because he was like, there's a certain thing that I'm just missing to allow me to bloom, to reach that, like, the blue giant status. Blue giant is like a jazz term, and it's supposed to be basically amazing players in jazz. And he was like, you have the thing to make your seed bloom, and I'm going to help you water that seed. I was like, oh shit. I love these type of stories, man, where you get to see someone so passionate about the thing, and then they actually put in the work to make that passion come through. Because you wanted to talk about the different characters. Who is another dude that you really enjoyed? I guess still in the early part of the chapters we were able to read.
The piano mate that he ended up meeting, Yukinari. He's pretty amazing because he's like a 10-year. Or he's been playing the piano since he's like 4 years old or something like that. So he's a savant when it comes to piano, really skilled. And then you have Tamada, his best friend. There's really good. Those type of characters help the story. His brother, the dad.
I love his dad. His dad. There's one moment. It's like I was saying, how the teacher was watering the seed to help him develop into an actual player.
The dad was like,
he didn't realize he wasn't paying him the entire time.
Bro, that was ridiculous. Okay, the teacher dude isn't just some teacher he is legit a teacher. He teaches lessons and stuff.
Like, he went to Juilliard in America. He came back over there. Like, he's a legit.
He gets paid to make music for commercials and stuff like that, jingles and stuff. This dude has a job and a living.
You're like, he's a legit player.
And so funny moment was when Dai realized that he's going to all these lessons, right? And the dad's like, yeah, you be going a lot. He's like, oh yeah, first I was going like 3 times a month, then it's like 4 times a month, and then it's every time when my teacher's available. He said, how much are you paying? And he's like, I'm not paying him anything. And so the dad goes to meet the teacher, and the teacher pretty much tells him the same thing. Like, he believes Dai's potential is through the roof. So then after that, Dai realizes his mistake, goes to the teacher and says, I need to start paying. He said, you know what? In 10 years, buy me a Porsche.
Yeah.
That's how much of a belief that the teacher has in his own student. 10 years, give me a Porsche.
That's another thing. Like, this was also really funny. Like, this isn't a gag manga at all, and it's not intentionally trying to be funny, but there's a lot of humor throughout this and reading it. There's some low parts in it. Like, there's one low part where it's like the first time he's trying to make a song, and he comes upon that, and this, I guess it's like low-key spoiler, but not big spoiler. There's a dog that he gets to meet. We all know when a dog appears, what's going to happen to that dog later on.
Red flags.
It is an instant red flag. But our dude, he takes care of the dog for like a week,
yeah, because the owner goes off to do something for his job. He say, yeah, I'll leave the dog in your care.
And so he takes care of that dog. He kind of builds a bond and friendship with him, and he's having this difficulties coming up with his first like solid piece. And then, of course, the red flag. The dog dies. Sorry, but he makes his first song with the pain and emotion, and he takes that and he's able to like convert it into music, and it kind of just shows how gifted of an artist he is.
Dai's special talent, I said, was one thing that he can feel for the emotion in music. He doesn't see music as just something that your talent and stuff. Like, he feels like if you're passionate enough about it, or you have the emotion and the will, that's what music is to him, and that's how he feels music is. Like you said, that one scene in the bar when he walked in, and then he started playing. He picked a piece to play. Yeah. He said, "Oh, play that piece," and she said, "Why'd you pick this one?" It matches the environment outside, which was raining and stuff. So the bar owner was like, "Huh."
Character ability. We're jumping around, but the way that the story basically ends up going, it's like we follow him in the beginning.
His final senior year in high school.
He starts to get his lessons, and he starts to build this talent and this ability, and then he graduates, and then he's like, all right. It's like we got to see his training montage, and then after we got to see his training montage, we're still following him as a character trying to become a blue giant. And so he goes
to Tokyo,
to the city, and once he's in the city, that's where we meet his piano friend,
the piano guy he ended up wanting to make a band with.
And then we meet we have that bar scene like Jamal was saying, and that was another dope scene because it shows how ingrained music is in him, and it kind of makes me think, right? To become successful at something, do you have to have like this type of crazy devotion towards it, or do you think you can become successful without that?
No, I think if you want to be successful in anything you're doing, you gotta put 120, probably 150% into whatever you're doing. You have to fall in love with it, and that's how you see Dai is like he just. And it's like you want to say, "Oh man, you just hiking, just fall in love with something, you just start doing something." But
it's like it's more than just love.
Yeah, he was like, "This is what I want to do." He wanted to be a jazz player and a jazz musician, and he wanted to be the best in the world. And he's giving it his all. He's playing music. He's training for it. He's doing all that to achieve that goal, and that's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. And you see how his dad, like before, this is where he was deciding his future. Yeah. He's like telling his dad, like, the dad realized that he's not talking about school. He's not talking about joining the workforce. Like, what does he want to do? So he sits down and talks to him, and he's like, Dad's like, I want to be a jazz player. And he said, okay, of course, usually the parents are like, oh, that's unrealistic. But his dad was like, you know what?
Like, give it your all. Realistic goal.
Yeah. But his dad believed in him. He said, give it, whatever you do, give it all you got. And he believed in his son. That's a lot of things a lot of parents should do, believe in their children and stuff like that.
I don't know. I get it, though, too, because there's this level of risk and realness that comes with it, too, because when Dai does get to Tokyo, he is flat broke.
True. He's living in his friend's, he goes to university's apartment.
He's bumming off his friend. He's living in his apartment. He's working real crappy jobs, and he's still trying to do his music thing. And I think that's an important part to highlight, though.
There's going to be lows,
like,
to get to the highs.
Yeah, and the lows are going to be way more. I think sometimes when you think about success, you think it's like, all right,
instantaneous, boom, I'm in there. But no, you got to grind to get there. It's not going to be a walk in the park. There's going to be some ups and downs, and you're going to see that, and it's tough. But yes, he was flat broke, and he was bumming off his friend. So,
in the new city, he's working.
He's working various jobs,
construction jobs, very
freaking grocery store. He's working various jobs.
Yeah,
various jobs just to.
He got like music. 2 jobs.
Yeah, and while playing, like you said, while playing his music and trying to maintain the cost of it, because he had to, pay for the reeds, pay for the maintenance of his saxophone.
Yeah, because I don't want it to sound like he's just instantly getting that success.
No,
right?
he's not.
Everyone, because there's a mixture of like things going on. It's like. We kind of know that he did succeed because there's a cool thing that they're doing throughout the manga as you're reading.
The flashbacks.
They're like, it's kind of like we're reading the present moment of Dai's story, but there are interviews with like different people that he met throughout his life who are just talking about their first time meeting him when he was still just like a seedling,
pretty much a nobody.
Yeah. And so we know he succeeds, right? But it's cool
how we get there.
Yeah.
How does the journey? How he goes from the nobody jazz who started playing jazz in his freshman year of high school to the eventual famous jazz player that's known around the world.
Yeah, I definitely I give this story it's like 10 stars, 10 stars. I can't sing its praise enough because it hits so many good notes, bro. It like from the drawings to the feelings to the humor to the pacing of the story, everything feels like it's going in the right trajectory.
It's so good that this video even becomes popular, famous, and listened to a lot, whatever. My main hope is for this to end up, for Blue Giant to end up getting an anime.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say, they need anime and something. There's a lot of mangas out there that need animes.
Nah, fuck
out
that.
There.
This shit needs
But this one needs one because it's a music anime. And the way for you to, get the most out of a music manga is to hear the music. Like you said, you have to play. You played the music while reading the manga just to get the sense of what he was playing.
Yeah, it's
which is cool, but still you need the anime too.
Yeah, because each chapter, it's like I said earlier, each chapter is an actual jazz song. So I'll throw the jazz song on in the background because I'm not gonna lie, I've read this like 2 or 3 times since the first time, and so I'll throw the jazz on in the background while reading it to kind of get the feel of what song is supposed to be played and what like emotion he's trying to get across the page. Even though I feel like he does a good job right while drawing to show the intensity of like different moments with like the heavy shading and like with like the backgrounding of the characters. It feels like they're static on certain pages when the sound is supposed to be intense and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it's like Jamal was saying, we need like
Your Lie in April hits way different. When everybody who watched Your Lie in April, it hit way different. You hear no music notes, and as good as the story is, the anime helped enhance it. So of course that's what an anime does. It helps enhance the source material. But for the Blue Giant for sure, Crunchyroll, Funimation, Netflix, whoever, Hulu, Amazon.
I think that would be like I do want it, but I wonder if there would be an audience for it, right? Because it's like a coming of age story, but I guess the media that they're choosing to use is they're using jazz, right? And like it's like we said, it's a sound from a bygone era. It's like how many people will really enjoy it, but I don't know. I think the characters are perfect. I think you really fall in love with Dai. He's a very simple, straightforward character. To me, he gave me strong vibes of Ippo.
Hajime no Ippo.
Other than just being at time, Ippo can seem kind of
deflated
and lacking confidence. This
even
guy,
though he's a champion, but a former whatever.
Dai isn't lacking any confidence.
No, he's not.
It's really motivating because he's straightforward and he's like, this is what I want. I have set my goal and I'm gonna do everything in my ability to put forth that energy to make this come true. And that's dope now. Any final thoughts before we end up?
Just get all the volumes when they come out. Support the artists. Support the author. Yeah, support them. I'm going to. Like I said, I've already pre-ordered. Or not pre-ordered, but I already purchased my copy on Amazon.
Yeah, it literally came out November 10th.
Yeah, just 2 days ago. And we were recording this on the 12th. So 2 days ago, it came out.
Yeah.
So it's officially, coming out. It's a 2-volume set. So that's how they're doing it. So hopefully by book 5 or book 5 of the collection, it should be done. Because the first series is only 10 volumes. He has 3 series out. He has Blue Giant, Blue Giant Supreme, and Blue Giant Explorer that he just started on.
I feel like it's definitely gonna get an anime. Like I'm gonna put that thought out there in the world, because even when you said it earlier, the amount of sales he had for this manga,
it was 5.5 million
in Japan.
When I've seen it, that's just Japan. That's not even North America yet. So this is popular. It won an award, the 2016 show got probably pronounced it wrong, for the manga award, and it won it along with One Punch Man. In the same year in that 2016 award. So it's popular. It's really good. It's a really popular manga. It just took a while to come out in America, So now it's out, and I feel like this will eventually get an anime. I don't want to bet or quote me on that, but hopefully it does.
Quote us on it. Quote Sean said it. Quote Sean on it.
But I do really wish it gets an anime.
Yeah. But no, this manga, if I had to give it stars, I'll give it like 10 stars out of 5.
It gets our recommendation for must read, must watch eventually.
Yeah, but
yeah.
No, definitely thank you all for listening to this freestyle. We definitely loved, or I speak for myself, right? But I think Jamal loved it too. But
I loved it as well.
But
speak for me, I loved it.
But we definitely love this manga. But yeah, thank you all always for listening to Manga Cyphers. We'll be speaking to y'all next week, and I hope y'all check out the next freestyle. Bye.